Hi everyone, my name is Megan, owner and maker at Harlan's Handmade Soap Company. Today we're going to make some wine soap together. If you'd like more information on why you would use wine in your soap, you can visit my blog post all about it linked in the description box. Let's start with the wine. I prepped this ahead of time by cooking it at a low simmer for about 20 minutes on the stove, letting it cool a bit and then putting it in ice cube trays. If you're a little short on the wine and the wine cubes, just make up the difference with some distilled water. The fragrance today is Chardonnay from Lone Star Candle Company. I have a couple other scents from Lone Star in this collection. This particular one is light and fresh, a little bit floral, a little bit citrusy. It's really a wonderful scent. So to my melted oils, I have added some kale and clay, and I wanted to get that well incorporated before I add the lye. I don't always add the kale in this early because it can accelerate trace. Same thing with some fragrance oils, but not the one I'm adding now. It really depends on the fragrance, the oils, and the pour I have planned. This pour is a solid color, and I'm using a very well-behaved fragrance. I've already mixed my lye in some distilled water and let it cool. I'm now adding the rest of the liquid in my recipe with my wine cubes. By the way, this is not the way that you should combine the wine and the lye water. It splashed up and I was really grateful I had on my safety gear. Now I combine them by pouring the lye solution over the cubes. And don't forget the sodium lactate. This will give you a harder bar and make it easier to unmold. Now I'm going to add some titanium dioxide that I have pre-mixed with olive oil and incorporate that well into the oils. I could have done this when I added the fragrance, but to be honest, I forgot. So once we have that mixed in, we'll add the lye water. I want to go back and talk about when I added the wine to my lye. A lot of the time we'll see solutions used to replace water in a recipe mixed with the lye at the very beginning. And there are some things that I do that with. But as we know, when lye is mixed with liquid, the chemical reaction is very dramatic and can heat up to above 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Additives that have sugar in them, like wine or beer, can end up getting scorched in that kind of heat. Wine in and of itself, especially white wine, does not necessarily change the color of the batter all that dramatically. It depends on the type of wine you choose. Scorched wine, on the other hand, makes the batter much darker, and that has to be taken into consideration when choosing the colors. If I add it to the lye after that initial heat reaction, especially the frozen cubes, the sugars are less likely to scorch and I have more options for coloring. So I sped this up a little bit just so we can get to the pour. Since this is going to be a pretty easy pour, I can mix it to about a medium trace. I'm going to remove some of it and get that to a thicker trace to put at the bottom of the mold. This will give me a base for my embed, something to hold it up while I pour the rest of the batter around it. At least that's the idea. So the stick blender goes into the little pot and I get that quite a bit thicker, but not soap on a stick thick. I still want it to be able to pour. I do not want to have to put this in with a spoon. And now for the pour. You can see that the batter is in a little Pyrex there is definitely at a thick trace. I'm going to pour that into the bottom of the mold and then put my end bed in there to see if it stands up. The end bed doesn't look like much laying on the table there, but it will be a rose once it is in the soap. I used my soap dough to make this one, and I'll do a video with that recipe in the near future. My batter is not quite thick enough, so I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, but while I'm waiting, I'm going to mix up some colored batter for the top. This is a simple soap bar, but I do want to have a little bit of interest on top. I'm using copper penny mica from Nurture Soap here to color it. I thought that it would go well with the tone of the batter that's already there. I should have held the embed up to the camera for you to see the end, but you'll just have to wait until the cut for the whole picture. I'm trying to get the rose embed as close to the center as I can, but as you'll see, I'm going to have to adjust it some once I start pouring. It kind of fell over. But no harm, no foul. Just stand it back up and pour some more around it. I'm trying to keep the amount of batter I pour on either side even so the bottom doesn't get kicked out to one side or the other. You can see how important it is to not get this part of the batter too thick before you pour. I've tried to do this with thicker batter, and there is just no way to avoid air bubbles around the embed if you have to cram it in with a spoon. You can tell that the batter is getting thicker as I pour. It happens so fast, you really just have to do your best to guess exactly how long you have and work fast. The longer you're soaping, the easier this is going to get. Both the kaolin clay and the titanium dioxide in this recipe will accelerate the batter, but the oils I used are slow moving, so they even each other out. But even the temperature in the room or the humidity in the air can make a difference. The best policy is to have everything ready before you add the lye to your oils and move as fast as you can without making a mess out of it. Remember, I made some of the batter the copper penny color to add interest to the top, and I'm going to spread that over half the top, then swirl it around with a chopstick to bring some of the copper over to the white side and some of the white over to the copper side. There is a variety of ways that I could layer these and swirl them. I've probably never done it the same way twice, but it nearly always looks pretty. The trick is just to move around the very top layer, otherwise it could ruin the design underneath. That's not much of a consideration for this one, and at another time I might have gone down further or even done a swirl into the soap to push some of that color down. There is a point, however, at which you have done too much swirling and it looks like a mess. More is not always better for this. It's also about your own personal preference. Another soaper may have done more or less than I did, or even added a texture on top. All right, it's been 24 hours since we poured this. It's been C-popped and cooled. Now it's time to see what it looks like from the inside. There we go. And that is definitely a rose. This is my second attempt at a rose embed in the soap. The first ones were supposed to be rose buds, but they turned out looking like tulips. So I renamed the soap and now they are tulips. Just like when you're playing music, unless the person who sees the soap knows what you meant to do, they're never gonna know that you messed it up. And sometimes it's the soap that does not turn out the way that you planned that you end up liking best. But luckily, this one turned out just like I had hoped, with that rose embed in the center. I love working with soap dough. It's just like using clay. So if you've ever done that before, you can definitely do this. And it isn't one of those crafts that sits on the table in your living room and gets dusty. You actually use this one, and it's a whole lot easier to sell, trust me. This is a part of a line of wine soaps that I designed for the Valentine's Day springtime time of year, so the flowers seemed appropriate. Something to remember when making wine soap, or beer soap for that matter, is that you should boil the alcohol out before you add it to the lye. The reaction when lye hits the alcohol is incredibly violent, and unless you have a really big container, it may bubble over the top and make a mess. And nobody wants to be cleaning up lye off the floor and the countertop. As you can see, I sped this up quite a bit so that we can get through the cut and see them all. On this last one here, you can see that there is an air bubble right next to the corner of the embed. That's not unusual in the end pieces of the embed, especially if the batter gets thick. I'm just going to break off a piece of one of the ends and press it into the hole. Generally, the soap is soft enough to do this when you're just cutting it. And as you can see, that did the trick. Here they are, all laid out and stamped. It is a gorgeous, simple soap, and it will be available on February 1st in my online shop. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more great soap and soap business content. Thanks for spending some time with me.